This PIM video might be a little bit harder to do. You see, video games are a little bit different than movies and TV. Rather than just pop it in and watch it, you have to kind of interact with it in order to get a feel for how the game is. The AVGN says it all the time, you can describe all day long how bad a game controls, but at the end of the day, the only way you're going to find out is if you play it yourself. Plus, it's also very difficult to talk about video games without the actual footage of the video games. You know, no matter if you genuinely believe that these guys might not exploit the YouTube's BS copyright system, I can't take that risk. Despite these obvious obstacles, fate made it so that this had to happen, so I have to do this. Now, excuse me while I get into character. The year is 20XX. It is an apocalyptic future that has the workers make pennies while the top 1% lives in the laps of luxury. One day, the workers decided that they had enough and start fighting back. You take the role of the revolution, not one revolutionary, the entire revolution itself, as you gather more comrades on your quest to liberate the workers of your nation. You travel to the factories workers slave in, to the gated communities of the bourgeoisie, right up to the CEO's corner office. Right off the bat, the idea of this game is really interesting, as is an explicitly socialist anti-capitalist game. Not just in its messaging, but also in its production. The people behind the game actually run their companies like socialists, both being worker co-ops. So before you type your hate comments, they actually do practice what they preach. Or continue to do so we can endlessly make fun of you for being wrong. Gameplay-wise, it's a very simple beat-em-up done in an 8-bit style that's pretty common for indie games nowadays. You can call it tiresome or them saving money, but it doesn't really detract from it. Well, yes, it could be cool if they went with a unique style, like, oh, maybe they can look like 1940s Soviet propaganda, sort of like how Cuphead tries to mimic the 30s style of animation. But the game actually does try to interestingly tie itself back to its message. Like I said, you don't take the role of one revolutionary leading the revolution, you take control of the entire revolution. If the character you're playing as dies, you just take the role of someone else. And the rest of the people in the horde actually copy you. And one thing they did attempt to do was basically make it so that it is harder to beat the game on your own. Like, you actually need all of these workers to actually complete the tasks that you need to do. Also rewarding you if you actually manage to keep as many people alive as you can, most particularly by increasing your arsenal, each one being a more LARPy name than the last. Oh, I get it, the power-up that lets you heal yourself is called Socialized Medicine. Oh, I get it, the bomb is called the Haymarket, and so on. And the thing is, this game could have easily failed if it wasn't for one other aspect. You see, rather than actually seeing this as a extremely poignant political message, like, we need to spread this message and it has to be incredibly seriously done, the developers accepted one simple fact. This is a video game. It's supposed to be fun. And as such, it doesn't take itself 100% seriously. You're fighting CEOs in mech suits alongside a talking version of Lakaikos the Riot Dog. Now, I could go on and on about how great this game is and all that jazz, but I am supposed to be an angry video game boy, so I guess I have to say it. I do have some slight critiques. For one, the motif of, oh, it's harder to beat the game with one person. Yeah. While technically that's true, I did manage to easily beat a lot of the levels with one person. Sure, I didn't get the 3 gears and I didn't get the arsenal upgrades, but I beat the level. While yes, it would have been cool to have those items during, like, later boss stages, but I didn't need them. And on that same token, I have to give this criticism. The game is too short. I literally beat it in like a couple of days, and the only reason I did so was because I purposefully gave myself breaks from playing the video game. Now that'd be well and good, but the last level gave absolutely zero indication that it was the last level. In fact, it basically felt like another one of the boss victories, like, oh, I beat the boss, on to the next stage. But then the cutscene kept playing, and I'm like, wait, that's it? 4 worlds? That's like half a Mario game. Sure, it was probably due to budgetary reasons or something along those lines, but it literally felt like I was just playing half a game. Especially since there's really just no replayability value. I mean, yes, I could go back and do the levels again to get all 3 cogs, or I could go back and do the endless mode, but there's no point. I accomplished the goal of the game. I beat the level. I beat the story. I mean, it's literally so average that the National Review basically had to say, I mean, the game was pretty good, but it's socialist, so taking a jab at the fact that it's $15, calling it overpriced. Now, as a consumer, I would agree, but as a person who actually thinks about how the artists and development would actually take, I'm pretty sure that the $15 price tag's a little fairer than the National Review wants to give them credit for. Now, if you think it's overpriced, wait until Mayday like I did. Wink, wink. Not much else to say except pee pee poo poo caca. I truly stand on the shoulders of giants. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified when a future video comes out. And if you're interested in more content from me, you can go to my website, follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, check out my articles in the Independent Political Report, or consider supporting me on Patreon.